Well, imagine starting from scratch, your life, your job, even a new language. It's something about 70,000 people new to the U.S. have to do every year.
They're refugees, and a handful of them live here in Western New York. News 4's Jen Shantz got a unique glimpse inside the process of starting over and tells us more.
Most refugees resettled in Erie County don't choose to come here. It's where they get placed. Once they arrive, it's a maze of appointments and paperwork. It's overwhelming, to say the least. For Babakir Abdullah, the challenge of beginning again was all about his family.
These days, Babakir Abdullah is all smiles. After 5 years without seeing his family, his wife Samia and 2 sons are here in Buffalo. His youngest son he met for the first time when he arrived.
I wait for that long time. Prayer, I wait. Once they come, I feel very happy now. Like start new life now.
But that new life didn't come easy. In the midst of civil war, Abdullah, a farmer in the North Darfur region of Sudan, fled his home.
Here is freedom, Sudan no freedom.
The government wouldn't allow his family to accompany him. Abdullah spent time in a refugee camp. Here he is holding a friend's son. He bounced around a few countries before finally landing in the U.S. There are 4 resettlement agencies in Erie County. One of them is Journey's End Refugee Services. Director of the resettlement program at Journey's End, Megan Rumpf Perry, says the process of finally getting a refugee status is a complicated one.
So they're labeled by the United Nations as a refugee, and then they wait for resettlement. And that process can be years and years and years and years. Some people it's a year. I've heard cases of 18 years of people waiting to come here, but that's rare. But I think it's usually 8 to 12 years is probably an average. I don't know officially.
According to the United Nations, there are about 60 million refugees in the world right now. Every year, about 70,000 are resettled in the United States. President Obama recently upped that to 85,000 for the next fiscal year. Abdullah has now been in the U.S. for 3 years, but his family didn't join him until a couple months ago.
He's never really interacted with his sons that much, and just seeing them and how happy they are to be together, and then to see him with his wife is really a beautiful thing.
Shannon Linehan is the case manager for Babakir's wife, Samia. Samia and the boys don't speak English yet. Linehan says on top of Journey's End services, community support is key to the resettlement process. Abdullah is helping guide his family, but he had to do a lot of things on his own.
When you start new language, it's very hard for you.
He remembers something as simple as taking the bus often took him an entire afternoon.
I want to give my children good education, and my wife too. And me, I want to prove my future. That's why I come here.
His oldest son, while still learning English, tells his dad he wants to be a doctor when he grows up. Abdullah also has goals for the future, like bringing his extended family to the U.S. They're all still in Sudan. Rumpf Perry says the refugee crisis is nothing new. It's always existed. It's just not every day people take the time to think about it.
The average refugee, all they want is what most of us want, which is a safe home and right to work and take care of their families and have an education.
After 1 year of living in the U.S. as a refugee, you apply for a status adjustment to become a permanent resident. After 5 years, you can then apply for citizenship, which is an even lengthier process. But Babakir says just like starting over, he's up for the challenge. In the newsroom, Jen Shantz, News 4.